This year, Nevermore Online decided to do a video on the different types of college application processes that high school seniors fill out. Let's take a look. Hi, we're here with Mr. Pruden, one of our college counselors. And Mr. Pruden, would you mind telling us what are the different types of college applications and the different processes that students go through for, say, if you're going to school for a sport or for theater or art, what different processes do you deal with?
Well, the applications that have specific talents usually require another level, but they also have some different timelines. And for instance, if you're looking at the arts, in addition to the regular application, if it's visual arts, you're probably going to have to submit a portfolio that's going to be reviewed separately from the regular application. If it's instrumental, if it's voice, you're probably going to have an audition. You oftentimes will send out preliminary tape, and then they may want you to come, as you undoubtedly know, as your brother went through. On the athletic side, the process can also often start to take place well in advance as you go to camps, as you start to get recruited, and then you have the twofold aspect that the admissions office obviously has to admit the person, but there is the question of the scholarship offer, letters of intent that create a commitment to the school.
Great.
Hello, we're here with Mr. Billerman, a former Duke basketball player. Could you give us some details about how the application to play basketball there was a little different than it is now?
Well, first of all, in relation to an application process, there was no application. They had asked for my grades, they got a copy of my transcript, and they enrolled me. I didn't fill out an application to go to Duke University or any of the other schools that recruited me except for Princeton, which I actually had to go do an interview with them, which was a kind of a neat thing. And the recruiting process was completely different than what you've gone through. Having been both a high school recruited athlete for football and basketball, it was completely different.
Can you give us some more details of how you got recruited as I know now we go to camps and highlight tape. What was it different back then?
Well, back then it was more by word of mouth from college coaches to other people, or high school coaches calling college coaches, or like I was a sophomore in high school and I played in a pro summer league up in New Jersey. I was the only high school player in the league, and what happened was I was playing fairly well, so several players in that league called their colleges and said, man, you should come and see this kid. And so that's where the recruiting process started for basketball. With football, I had a really good sophomore year after starting as a freshman. My sophomore year, I threw for 22 touchdowns, which was quite a lot back then. And so the recruiting process started heavy there as well. But there were no camps you went to. You could go to Five Star Camp, which was an outdoor camp up in the Poconos, which is actually where Michael Jordan made his name. He went from being a good high school player to somebody that was a national recruit, and to become one of the top 10 players in high school that year. So there was some camps, but I didn't go to any. I just was based on that, playing in the pro summer league.
Well, thank you for your time and the lovely history lesson. Thank you.
We just heard from Mr. Billerman how the application process went for him. Now we're here with Avery Edwards, who's decided to play football at UNC Chapel Hill. So Avery, can you tell us what your application was like now?
Well, first, unlike most roomers, I actually do have to apply the same way with the Common App and the other app that UNC requires. And the only difference is my deadline is not till March 1st, so they give recruits longer to decide. So say you're a big-time recruit and you have 20 plus offers, you might not decide what school you go to until later in the year, and you have like a big signing day and party like that. So lucky for me, I can go ahead and apply before the March 1st deadline. But also with getting recruited, you have to go to a bunch of camps. You know, I've sacrificed pretty much 2 summers, traveling all up and down the East Coast, going to football camps, one-a-days at different universities. And your highlight tape is definitely a big part of it. You have to make a highlight tape from your season. Usually Coach Annette helped me with that. And we would send that out to schools, and then coaches would come by or call. And there's a certain period where they could and could not talk to me, so that always made it more difficult.
Great, thank you so much.
We're here with English Bernhardt, who has applied to multiple schools to be in their theater program. So English, can you please tell us the difference in your applications?
Definitely. For my applications, I had to fill out the regular application like everybody else, so the Common App, or if the school has a separate application. And then for 3 of my schools, normally the schools that are larger and have more applicants, I had to send in what's called a pre-screening video, which is kind of like my highlight tape, but for the arts. And so I'm applying for musical theater, so that's singing, dancing, and acting. So for my pre-screening video, I had to do 2 monologues, 2 dances, and 2 songs. So it took a long time to kind of get it all together and make sure it like ran smoothly, and Ms. Velk helped me a lot with that. But so I had to send that to 3 schools, and then as well as those videos, they will let you know a couple weeks after whether or not you can come audition for them in person. So that's kind of the first round for the bigger schools. My other schools, I go ahead and set my audition date right after I apply. But so my first audition is in January, and I kind of go every weekend to different schools. So it'll be busy flying all over up north. But so yeah, mine was the application and the pre-screening and the auditions.
Well, we wish you luck and have a safe flight.
Thank you.
We're here with Clara Fusco, the Morehead Scholarship finalist. Can you please give us a little more about the application and what you had to do differently?
I had to apply to the Morehead before I applied regular to Chapel Hill, and to apply for the Morehead, you just had to do like a couple extra essays and fill out a lot more stuff in depth about yourself, and then complete the additional actual Chapel Hill application and turn that in for the early deadline. And then once you get past the first round, which is what I've had so far, you have to do like a process of interviews before you get into the last round.
We're here with record holder quarterback Quinn Billerman to ask him about his college application. So Quinn, tell us how you applied.
I didn't apply to college.
Well, thank you for that. What did you have to do in order to apply to MMI?
Basically, like, I just had to fill out a sheet and then give it to the coach, and they turned it in and sent us transcripts, and that's basically all I did.
Now, we know you're playing football there, so you've played 2 years so far. How will that affect your eligibility in playing in college?
After this year, I'll have 2 more years to play, and I'll have a redshirt year if I need it. So.
What schools have offered you so far?
Savannah State, and I'm taking a visit there tomorrow.
Well, that's good.
So as you can see, certain applications take a lot of effort and a lot of time. Whether it's a video or a highlight tape or an extra application, our advice to you would be get cracking. Get on it early so you have plenty of time to relax, and once you're in, you're home free.